Good morning. Just getting ready to psych myself up for today's leg workout. I'm going to cover my morning regimen. Some people, I'm not afraid to admit it. First thing in the morning, a couple Humanofort, get the things cranking there. And then I actually microdose psilocybin. Psilocybin microdosing has been shown, and it's proven to me to do a lot of great things for me, even overcoming some PTSD and helping me see things from a perspective that the mind normally would not see. Um, for those that, are against that, good for you. But psilocybin was given to us by God for a very good reason. And it's been shown, and I've experienced it, that small amounts on a daily basis start a chemical reset to start your day right, get the juices flowing, cause a chemical rebound that's positive in the brain. And sometimes at higher doses, if done with, say, like a spouse, if you're going through issues, you will experience things together. You will feel all emotions and everything. And then you will be able to see from the outside looking in without emotions and see it as for what things really are for somebody that's not emotionally involved, and help you come to terms with things and move on from it. It helped me heal from my childhood, many issues like my marriage, and even helped me realize my potential. Huge believer in psilocybin. But again, Humanofort, get that flowing. The growth factors in it, I've gone over many, many times, and we'll go over them again. But even a large part of it is the growth factors in it increase BPC 157 levels in the gut. A lot of people take synthetic BPC 157 when taking Humanofort. You don't need to. It's in there. All Humanofort, the way it's created naturally, contains the full spectrum of all growth factors that there are, all of them. So you reap all the benefits, okay? One of these benefits, not only with, cellular communication and hormones, is the BPC 157 levels in the gut, and it grows the villi in the small intestine. They're like little fingers in the small intestine, and as they grow, it causes a larger surface area in the small intestine, and we absorb 18% more of the nutrients that we eat. This is scientifically proven. So, a few hours later, I'm going to work out. I take Ecdygrowth. Ecdygrowth contains the same amount of Humanofort per capsule, because you obviously need the benefits of the Humanofort. And one of the beautiful things about Humanofort is it acts as a ligand to receptors. Now, for those who don't understand that, we'll get into that in a later date. But what it does in small talk is it turns on all your receptors. As we age, like type 2 diabetes, for example, imagine a dimmer switch. As the receptors downregulate or get exhausted, the dimmer switch turns down and they're less effective, and the response isn't as great. By taking Humanofort, it turns this dimmer switch up, and that's why people's resting blood sugars will drop. It even heals the pancreas and helps increase insulin production and make what insulin we do produce more effective. It makes you more sensitive to growth hormone, IGF-1, your own testosterone. It makes you more sensitive to like estrogen. It makes you, and this is all at a maximal degree that is beneficial. It doesn't do anything negative. That's the thing with growth factors. They don't do anything negative, especially in the full spectrum. They balance each other out. If things are way out of range, they'll come into range. Below range, they'll come up to range. Things that are good stay the same. Dr. Serrano's studies have shown this. But our receptors, for those who don't understand what a receptor is, every hormone and chemical in our body that is produced has to attach to a receptor to create the signal in which tells the body what to do. Hormones don't just float around in the body. The receptors, imagine when we were little kids, remember those blocks they had, that little star thing that you put in the star? And there was the circle you put in the circle, and there was an oval you'd put in the oval, and the square in the square. That's the way hormones and chemicals work. They have a certain structure, and at a cellular level, these receptors, they fit in them perfectly. And then within the cell, in that receptor, create a signal that tells the body to do things. Now, when these get dampened, our body doesn't respond as well as it can. And that's why I can microdose 10 milligrams a day of testosterone and get the results of guys that are taking a couple hundred milligrams. I'm not only healthier, but I'm getting more out of it. Even with the insulin, for example, guys take metformin. No need to take metformin. If you're taking metformin, take a couple Humanofort twice a day, and slowly you can get yourself off the metformin. Just clean up your diet a bit. Start eating properly, taking the Humanofort twice a day. Metformin, out the window. Okay? All Humanofort does is keep your body running at a useful level, like when you were very young. Okay? So with that said, the receptors that accept the ecdysterones that are in ecdygrowth are turned up to their full degree. So if you were to take ecdysterone products, and Emmerich's no dummy, he used the best degree of ecdysterones. He studied it to the full degree and used the very best product available in this. It saves you some money because not only you're not just paying for ecdysterones and then Humanofort separately. By putting them in one container, he was able to only raise the price a few dollars and get the benefits of both. So if you're taking Humanofort, you're taking Ecdygrowth, you can take whatever Ecdygrowth you take, you can take that many less Humanofort and still get the same benefits. But these ecdysterones not only are accepted at a higher degree because of the ligand effect to the receptors that accept them from the Humanofort, but they've been shown in studies and proven to have the same anabolic effect as D-bol. Now, don't take that as you're going to get the same gains you would out of D-bol, for example. D-bol is extremely androgenic, but on the anabolic side, it is identical. So you will get higher nitrogen retention, higher amounts of protein synthesis, and some tissue building. I take the ecdygrowth around the workout, so that's when you want to do it. And it has no effect negatively on your own hormone levels, so it's a freebie. You can have your normal testosterone levels and get a boost, plus the Humanofort, which what that does. So I take right now, because of the amount of volume I'm doing and training twice a day, whether it be my morning high volume or like high rep recuperative X3 workout, and then my heavy workout later. I take the 2 Humanofort in the morning. I take the ecdysterones pre-workout when I'm doing the heavy training. If it's a day off and I'm just doing the pump work I described, I only take the Humanofort twice a day. But then at night, I take Humanofort again to give me the recovery benefits at night. The growth factors in Humanofort have been shown to be 100% responsible for our body's ability to recover. And that's why we regenerate and run at a more youthful level and can recover more. You can see that, remember how Ronnie Coleman trained? Ronnie Coleman took 6 Humanofort a day. And not only was that a huge factor on how he recovered, it kept his triglycerides in check because Ronnie, the amount of drugs he took, and he ate like shit. He ate fried chicken and pizza and everything else. His triglycerides were a disaster. Taking 6 Humanofort a day balanced out his triglycerides. And it's a large reason why Ronnie's still alive today. And he owes Emmerich the favor. Ronnie will be mentioned in Emmerich's documentary on Netflix. Emmerich, the documentary's been filmed. There will be a documentary on Netflix about Emmerich and his products. It'll be about his life, the athletes that he's helped, interviews from athletes, the Balco Lab scandal, and his products. It's being held for some reason. They were supposed to put it out in May or June, but for some reason they got some other stuff going on and they've been holding off on it, but it's still going to come out. And when Emmerich's documentary comes out, I'll be proud as hell that my buddy has finally discovered he deserves it. Okay? But after taking this, obviously I'm going to have some decent amount of water. I'm getting ready to work out. And today I have some venison breakfast sausage. Good stuff. And then I have a sweet potato that I've added MCT oil to. So pre-workout, I'm eating about 9 pounds of venison breakfast sausage. Sorry, not 9 pounds. That would be ridiculous. 9 or 10 ounces of venison breakfast sausage, and then a large yam with some MCT oil on it. The MCT oil is going to convert to ketones and just give me some energy. And a little bit of carbs in the yam is going to give me the glycogen needed for my workout. Otherwise, from there, I'm going to stop at Starbucks, have myself an iced coffee, message some people, and I'm going to go to the gym, and it's time for a high volume leg workout. Once I get back from the gym, I will take my second Ecdygrowth and drink a dozen eggs and eat some grapes. The grapes have a high amount of fructose. It's natural fructose. A little bit of fructose in grapes is not going to hurt shit, being a natural source. I know people can think what they want, but if it comes from nature, it's not going to hurt you. Just don't over consume it. But a good handful of these grapes, normal carbohydrates spike insulin just enough to take up the carbs you eat. Protein spikes just enough to take up the protein. But fructose spikes insulin a little bit higher, so you can take the protein up at a faster degree, in which means you can sneak more protein in your day. So I might be able to, through the day, sneak in another 30 or 40 grams by doing these small things. And this is the steps I'm taking, and that's why in the last month I've put on 10 more pounds. I haven't taken starting pictures or whatnot, but as time goes on, people will obviously be able to see that my muscle mass is coming back. And in the matter of the next 12 weeks, I'm going to be somewhere in the 230s and far from fat. So by the time then March rolls around and I go and do our training with Johan for his upcoming competition, we're going to use all of my alternative training methods, bands, loaded negatives, gymnast rings, Bosu ball, the GH accelerator, some of the stuff that Dr. Jaquish has taught us with the X3, and we are going to create a physique in his garage that rivals that of anybody ever thought we could without having a gym. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the gym. If you go to the gym, buy an X3, bring the X3 with you, do the X3 work first. Then if you're going to use weights, do it after and keep the weights at a minimum. Um, and if you do some machines, things like that, add bands to the stacks and use as little weight as possible and just pay attention to the negatives. So um, I train everybody and I'm realistic. I'm not going to fill people full of shit and say this is the only way to do this, the only way to do that. I'm going to teach you ways that actually work, and there's 100 different ways, 1,000 different ways to go about it. So currently, the 10 milligrams a day of cypionate, and for the jackasses out there that don't understand that, as I've explained before, when it comes to TRT, that's about a third of what most guys take. But because I know how to microdose it daily and get the most out of it, my levels stay around 1,000. And taking the Humanofort keeps me extra sensitive to it, keeps the SHBG down, and allows my free testosterone to climb, which is what's most important. So, and then nutritionally, I'm trying to consume at least 300 grams of protein a day. I'm getting a cup of olive oil a day. And most of my fats otherwise come from egg yolks and maybe a little bit of beef. But the majority of my fats are egg yolks and olive oil. And you can see that that's something I've also implemented into Johan. And you see his physique. He's far from fat and he eats a shitload of food. Okay. So I can't wait to get my hands on Johan and see what we can create with him, because with his genetics and his effort and dedication, the guy has what it takes. We're going to create a video series that everybody's going to want to buy, because we're going to take things to the next level. As I've stated, for people that just want to buy an X3 and eat one meal a day and look better, and that's all they want, that's fine. But then there's those of us that take shit seriously. Those of us that want to take things to the next level. Those of us that want to experience the superhuman factors, things like that. It's always been a part of me since I was a kid. I loved bodybuilding since I was 8 years old, always wanted to be one. I achieved it at a point in my life. I became a very well-known bodybuilder. Life shit on me, health failed. I learned how to reverse it. I've learned alternate training methods. I've reversed all my body damage. For the most part, I have a little more to get out, but slowly my mobility is coming back and my training ability is coming back, and my health is completely in check. I'm as healthy as can be, especially for everything that I've gone through. So here's my little input on starting today. From here, I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna finish this food, and I'm gonna get my ass going and hit my workout. Thanks for following along. I'll talk to you later.